Schools in Wyoming hope to get students back in the classroom for in-person learning. If someone tests positive for COVID-19 during the school year, they have other options. And instead of visiting hospitals, a study finds many Wyomingites are opting for telehealth.
Wyoming News Now starts now.
Good morning and thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Grace Foulk. Today is Wednesday, July 15th. Laramie County School District 1 announced its plans for the fall. The district says it will try to open buildings so students can come back to school.
We're looking at trying to start schools with everybody in person, and we would go 5 days a week with everybody there. We're looking at students having to wear masks if we can't do social distancing.
School officials say they are taking serious precautions in order to ensure students are safe. The district put together a plan so they're prepared to react to different situations should they happen in the fall. The plan is split into 3 tiers. The first is that students will be in the classroom with full accessibility. The second tier is in case a student gets COVID-19. If that happens, they will quarantine the classroom or the school. The third tier means schools will be closed again.
We're at the point where we need to try to have school again, and if things go poorly, we're going to have to make a decision to either shut a school down, quarantine a classroom. We know that that's going to happen, and we'll work with our health officials on exactly what we need to do there.
For more details on the plan, head to our website and search for LCSD1. Natrona County School District also finalized in-person learning for the summer and fall. The Board of Trustees is still reviewing some parts of the 2020 Smart Start reopening plan, though.
At this time, it is determined and identified that Natrona County School District schools will be open for students in the fall.
One NCSD parent says they are worried about their child's safety with in-person classes. The district says for families that are concerned, there will be a virtual learning option. NCSD is working closely with the Casper-Natrona County Health Department and state health officials on how to keep schools safe. There are some things that are finalized right now. One is social distancing will be encouraged in all possible situations. Face coverings will be worn when people can't be spaced out. NCSD also says there are plans in case of a positive COVID-19 case.
We want to make sure that we're always providing that excellent opportunity for education and for students to progress in their learning in a variety of formats, while ensuring that at the end of the day there is a safe and healthy environment for students, the school families, and also our community.
And again, there are still some details of the plan that are being worked out. And we have meteorologist Aaron Lowry joining us now for a first look at our forecast. Aaron, happy Wednesday, halfway through the week.
Happy hump day, Grace. Did you enjoy those cooler conditions yesterday?
Yes, it was so nice. Yeah, and I did. I slept in my hammock yesterday afternoon.
Great use of enjoying that weather for sure. Unfortunately, it's very short-lived because we're going to be seeing another heat wave make its way into the Cowboy State as we finish this week off. This morning, some of us wake up to cloudy skies. Those are beginning to clear up. And for today, we'll have those clearing skies, a lot of sunshine, and conditions are warming. We'll have mostly clear conditions through the overnight hours. As we peek at the radar and satellite, really the only clouds in the state right now are in the southeastern portion. Those are beginning to break up, and we will see plenty of sunshine as we get into the afternoon hours. As for the current temperatures, the clouds definitely had an effect, keeping things pretty warm in Cheyenne, 57, 63 in Wheatland. Meanwhile, Casper and Rollins are at 49, and our chilly spot is Yellowstone at freezing. As for wind speeds, 14 miles per hour in Cheyenne, 12 in Scottsbluff, 15 in Douglas, and calm in Casper. We do have a relatively windy spot this morning, though. How about Torrington? Starting the day off at 33 miles per hour. That's some Wyoming wind we haven't really seen a whole lot of as of late. A lot of that is due to the warmer conditions and the summer. And enjoying a nice break from that. Could see some breezy conditions as we go forward, but the main story as we head towards the weekend is we're about to get another one of those heat waves. So I sure hope you guys enjoyed the cooler conditions that we had yesterday.
I'm glad that I took time to enjoy it because I am I'm not really loving summer.
I'm not a big heat person either. You know, y'all might not like me for this, but I'm ready for winter again.
I like you for that, Aaron. Thanks. We'll hear from you later. The Wyoming Department of Health reported another death related to COVID-19. The man died after being hospitalized. Health conditions put him at higher risk for a serious infection. This is the 22nd death related to COVID-19 in Wyoming. The health department says COVID-19 symptoms can appear 2 to 14 days after exposure, but can be transmitted by people who aren't showing those symptoms. Across Wyoming, the health department is reporting 1,581 lab-confirmed coronavirus cases. The department reports another 370 probable cases. 1,462 people have recovered. There are 22 deaths related to COVID-19. That leaves 437 active cases in the state. Some people reported waiting longer than 2 weeks to get coronavirus test results. Our national investigative team looked at testing rates across the country, including states where experts say even more testing realistically needs to happen. Here's Lee Zurich with our COVID-19 tracker.
Almost 3 weeks ago, Jessica Troches drove to a COVID-19 testing site.
And I have not received those results yet.
Still,
Yeah. The paperwork that they gave me says 3 to 5 days, and you'll get your results.
Quest Diagnostics still hasn't given her the results from the June 25th test.
Does it defeat the purpose of getting tested if you have to wait that long for the results?
Pretty much.
In a news release, Quest says the turnaround time for non-priority patients is 7 or more days. Quest says it can't keep up with the increase in testing demand, and testing delays is not just a Quest problem. Other labs face similar delays. Yale Dr. Howard Foreman says our country won't be able to flatten the curve until testing is increased, is cheap, and results come fast.
Testing is not about finding sick people and diagnosing them. Testing is really about finding asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic individuals and pulling them out of circulation so they cannot infect other individuals.
Foreman and other doctors focus on the number of tests in each state that return a positive. That helps doctors determine if states have an accurate gauge of the true prevalence of the virus in the area. Most say anything below 10% positive is acceptable. At least 5 states have alarming numbers. In Arizona, 26% of the tests return a positive. Mississippi, 21%. South Carolina, 19%. Florida and Texas are also above 15%.
These are way too high, and they indicate that either we're completely under testing or more likely that there is widespread disease in the community.
So it's a sign that the disease is there and you're probably not catching every case that you should be.
Absolutely not. There's no way that you're catching enough asymptomatic patients when the rates are that high.
In the past 7 days, the Hot Springs, Arkansas area has seen the most cases per capita. Miami, Corpus Christi, Texas, and 2 areas in Louisiana, Lafayette and Lake Charles, are in the top 5 over the past week. What we don't know is how much these and other areas are seeing a backlog of tests.
You want those negative results so badly just to be able to go back out into the world, even masked up.
On top of just wanting to know and get back to life, those waiting are also facing logistical problems, like bringing home a paycheck.
If you can't get the negative results and go back to work, then you're basically sunk.
Many of the major metro areas that peaked early are still sitting well below their highest new case rate. Those areas include Indianapolis, Detroit, and Philadelphia, though nearly every metro is seeing little daily increases. A recent survey shows more than half of Wyoming patients may be using telehealth. The survey from the Wyoming Telehealth Network found 59% of patients meet with their provider with a virtual visit. Nearly a quarter of providers use it as their main mode of service. The Telehealth Network says 295 providers responded to the survey. Wyoming unclaimed property paid out more than $5 million to current and former residents of Wyoming. The Unclaimed Property Division of the State Treasurer's Office says it wrote a record number of checks. Over 8,000 were sent out to Wyoming citizens and businesses. One administrator says it just takes a few clicks to see if you have any money in your name.
You know, the important thing to remember is it's always turned over to the state of the last known address. So if you've lived in other states, you want to also check those states you've lived in as well, because it may have been turned over at that point. It depends on the complexity of the claim, but a lot of times if it's fast tracked and less than $250, you'll probably get your check back in about two to 3 weeks.
For more information, you can head to our Wyoming News Now website. Lander resident and Mountain Men star Josh Kirk made his newest music debut. It was held on Saturday night at a local business.
It's just nice to see people out in the good weather, getting out and socializing when they should, especially if they're not ill or know that they're not ill. And I think that's an important thing for our community, especially.
The event was held at the Lander Bar outdoor venue. The event wasn't heavily advertised because they didn't want a large crowd considering the current state restrictions. Kirk played music professionally under a producer for 5 years. He said he stepped back when the music lost its organic feel. He enjoys sharing his love for music with others and meeting Wyomingites in the process.
I know the people in Lander because the winters are so long and hard that when we can get out, it just makes a good time for everyone and people to get together.
Kirk's next goal is to play across the state at different venues. A police officer performed CPR on a baby. Dashcam footage captured his heroic actions. Plus, baby turtles made their way to the ocean at a national park in South America.
Well, hope everybody enjoyed those cooler conditions yesterday, because more of that heat is on the way. I'll have details when we come back.
Governor Mark Gordon encourages Wyomingites to wear masks. He shared his thoughts at a press conference. And downtown Cheyenne businesses feel optimistic about the future, even though they took a hit when the pandemic first started.
Wyoming News Now starts now.
Good morning and thanks for joining us at 5:30 a.m. I'm Grace Foulk. Today is Thursday, July 16th. Wyoming prosecutors will not take action against retired Bishop Joseph Hart. Natrona County's Assistant Attorney General says prosecutors felt they couldn't successfully prosecute Hart. This was after reviewing a police investigation. Hart was among the highest-ranked church officials facing accusations of sex abuse. This announcement ends a 2-year criminal investigation. Hart's attorney says the former bishop is gratified by the decision. And we have meteorologist Aaron Lowry with us now for a look at our forecast on this Thursday. Aaron, what can we expect today?
The heat is coming back today, Grace, as the 90s come back for a lot of us. We're expecting a good amount of sunshine to go along with that. As we peek at those weather headlines, mostly clear for today, and for a lot of us, we're going to have clear skies for the afternoon. I do anticipate clouds building into the southeastern portion of the state, and the chance for some spotty storms in the afternoon, though I do not expect there to be any severe weather, and then we'll have clear conditions for tonight. As we peek at the radar and satellite, clear skies get us rolling on this Thursday morning. Right now, it's 59 degrees in Cheyenne, 56 in Douglas and Wheatland, 48 in Laramie, 49 in Casper, and 40 in Jackson. As for those wind speeds, 12 miles per hour in Cheyenne, 8 in Douglas and Torrington. We are calm in Wheatland, and it looks like our breezy spot right now is Scotts Bluff at 14 miles per hour and Kemmerer at 16 miles per hour. We are going to start seeing winds picking up a little bit before we get to the weekend, and that is going to enhance another fire weather risk. We'll have those details details in your full weather forecast.
I'm not looking forward to the heat, Aaron.
I'm
Just
not
want to
either.
say that right away.
I mentioned yesterday I'm ready for snow again.
Yeah, well, thanks for that. In Wyoming, the Department of Health reports 1,605 lab-confirmed cases of coronavirus, along with 380 probable cases. 1,506 people have recovered, while the department reports 22 deaths related to COVID-19. That leaves a total of 457 active cases in the state. Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon expressed concern about the state's increasing COVID-19 numbers and virus-related hospitalizations. The governor is speaking firmly in support of wearing face masks, saying there is no constitutional right to, quote, go infect somebody else. The state's cumulative positivity rate is now about 3%. Though the state's hospital and ICU bed capacities are currently stable, Gordon says we're heading in the wrong direction. The governor is blaming a casual attitude about mask wearing and social distancing for Wyoming's growing number of coronavirus cases. And when it comes to masks, luxury brands, Etsy sellers, even Dunkin' Donuts are some of the retailers who have rushed into the mask selling business. Claire Sebastian reports. Walmart joined the list of retailers that will require customers to wear a face mask in its stores. Walmart and Sam's Club customers will be required to put on a mask or face covering before shopping in those stores. The big box retailer said the policy will start July 20th. Walmart says about 65% of its stores and clubs are in areas where there's already some kind of government requirement for face coverings. The company is joining a growing list of retailers that require masks inside of stores. Cheyenne local businesses took a hit because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Months after the pandemic first started, most of the events in Cheyenne have been canceled. With revenue and visitation down in the capital city, the Downtown Development Authority says businesses are still trying to be positive.
The numbers were better than expected for last month, and so we're optimistic about that. And I actually just had a business owner say this morning in one of our meetings, something good that came out of COVID was our community is realizing how important our local businesses are, and they have really come together in that regard to support them.
DDA officials are optimistic the Cheyenne community will overcome these financial hardships. The Casper Event Center will start hosting indoor events again. Casper and Natrona County Health Department officials approved reopening the event center. They will limit how many people can actually attend events inside. The first event will be Casper Comic Con. It's July 25th and 26th. The Comic Con will have 3 sessions, each limited to 500 people.
It's just great to have people back in. We've been closed since March 12th, so our employees are excited, our staff is excited, the city is excited. We're finally getting some people back in the building.
The Event Center is also hosting a comedy show and dinner August 1st featuring Josh Blue and Brant Tobler. Tickets go on sale Friday. If you want to submit art to Wyoming's Art Council, the deadline is coming up. You can submit art for the new auditorium at Laramie County Community College. Through the state's Art in Public Buildings program, indoor artwork will be commissioned for the new facility. You have until July 27th to apply. Submissions can come from around the country, but Wyoming artists will be given preference. Rangers decided a black bear in Yellowstone National Park needed to be killed. Officials say on July 6th, the female bear entered a campsite as adults and children sat outside. The bear walked up to a woman, bit her on the arm and head. The woman suffered minor injuries. Then the bear started nipping at a child. After that, the bear started eating the people's food. When rangers responded, the bear was still eating. The park decided to kill the bear because it had a food reward after biting a person. Rangers say that type of reward is a human safety concern. Authorities in Mongolia issued a health warning following the death of a 15-year-old boy after eating a marmot. Authorities say the animal was infected with bubonic plague. The plague is found in marmots, large rodents that live in burrows in the sprawling North Asian grassland. Mongolia's health ministry said 2 other teenagers who also ate the marmot were being treated with antibiotics. Following the death, the government imposed a quarantine on a portion of the province where the cases occurred. Hackers apparently broke into the Twitter accounts of some of the social network's most famous users. Tech billionaires, at least one former president and one presidential candidate were among the targets. The hackers asked for money with Bitcoin with the promise of doubling it. Details from Dan Sheneman.
Bill Gates?
Starting today, Johnson Pool will be using a reservation system. The pool wants to let as many people use it as possible while following CDC guidelines. They also changed recreation swim times. The first session will be from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. The second session will start a half hour later, lasting from 3:30 to 5:30. The facility is limited to a 50-person capacity. Keep in mind the showers are closed. Johnson Pool uses a reservation system for lap swim too. Lap swim is from 10:30 in the morning to 12:30. Reservations can be made by calling 637-6239. The Morad Park parking lot will be closed for maintenance and repair. The closure will last until about 5:30 tonight. Platte River Trail through the park is still open. Dog walkers using the trail to access the park are reminded to keep their pets on a leash outside the park, especially near the parking lot, just to keep pets safe. Community colleges in Wyoming got rid of some of their sports programs. We hear from an athlete who had to change her plans to play at the next level. And a research center releases manatees back into the wild after rescuing them months ago.
Well, now that heat is coming back as we head into the final days of this week, and our fire threat is escalating. I'll have the details when we come back.
Welcome back on this Thursday morning. It is 5:49 a.m. Last weekend, the Wyoming softball team made their mark. 2 age groups won state championships.
It was thrilling to have all these girls that this is their first year playing and come away with a state championship. So they were excited, and to go undefeated. The girls played tremendous.
The 10U and 12U girls won the state championship. Both teams went undefeated over the weekend in Laramie. Players said they knew they had an advantage because they faced familiar teams. The girls say they didn't take the tournament for granted, enjoying every moment on the diamond during the pandemic.
It was super fun. Just playing in the championship is awesome, and playing games since all of this COVID stuff is awesome as well.
There was a lot of teamwork. We all worked together in order to score those runs, and yeah, that helped us a lot.
The Wyoming 13U boys baseball team also walked away from the weekend with a state championship title. Some athletes decommitted from Gillette and Sheridan College. Those colleges canceled some of their programs. Now some student athletes changed their plans for the next year or two. One of those athletes is former Cheyenne East girls basketball player Madison Blaney. She originally committed to Sheridan College, but when the school canceled sports, she committed to Western Nebraska Community College. She says with the high school basketball season cut short because of the pandemic, she's eager to start competing again.
Western is a super competitive team, and I think it's just going to be so much fun, new experiences, and just getting back on the court.
She plans to major in animal science. And more Legion baseball happened last night. Samantha Bassarico was at the Douglas and Torrington games and has more. It is 5:54 in the morning on this Thursday. Welcome back. With most camps and family vacations canceled, this is a much different summer for many children. It's no surprise some kids are feeling unsettled and stressed out. Dr. Frank McGeorge shares some of the more subtle warning signs. 2 rehabilitated manatees returned to waters off the Florida Keys Wednesday. Here are some photos of the mother and calf released at a state park in Key Largo. The Dolphin Research Center's manatee rescue team saved them this past winter. They had help from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission and Dolphins Plus marine mammal responders. The mother manatee, nicknamed Kangaroo, had both of her pectoral flippers tangled in fishing line and net. It fractured the bones. She and her calf Joey were taken to Miami for treatment and rehabilitation. Officials say Kangaroo has healed and can now fully use her flippers. Aaron, such a happy story. I love seeing animals that were injured returned back into their natural habitat.
That is a very happy story, Grace. You know what else is funny? Is a manatee like the kangaroo of the sea or something, or is that just something they chose to do, naming the mom kangaroo and the child Joey?
I think there's something else. Are they cows of the sea? I think they're
the
cows
baby's called
of
a
the
calf.
sea.
Yeah. I don't know. That's really interesting. I'm not really sure. Well, we're
I'm
going to go
gonna
ahead and
look
take
it
a final peek at your extended forecast. It's going to be hot as we go forward, peaking at 96 on Saturday for us in Cheyenne. We will have a cold front that comes through as we head into Sunday. That will bring us some storm chances, topping us off at 88. And more of that effect will be felt on Monday. We'll bottom out at 83. 90s do come back for us as we head into the middle of next week. And for us in Casper, the cold front is way less pronounced, only dropping down to 86 on Monday and the 90s the rest of the days.